or you will be removed, please join back. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this session. In this session, we will start with the server-side development. Okay, introduction to server-side development, and we are going to use the PHP. So there are many technologies that can be used on the server side. For your syllabus, we have a PHP. These are the objectives: server-side development, web servers responsibility, then quick tour of PHP programming, program control, and the functions. What is server-side development? The basic hosting of your files is achieved through a web server. So hosting is like whenever you have the web application, then all the web application components you will host into a web server. That component will work as a server side. Whatever the client request that goes from the browser, the server side will take care of those requests and give a response as a HTML, or if there is any request for any other resources on the server, it will respond with those resources. Server side development is much more than the web hosting. It involves the use of an programming technology like PHP or ASP.NET to create scripts that dynamically generate the content. So we will be creating the PHP code on the server side, which will take a request, and depending upon the type of the request, it might automatically generate the content, or it can respond with the static component or the static resource. For example, if there is a request for a CSS file, so that is a static resource that will be available on the particular server. Let us say the page is getting displayed based on the user inputs. It is a dynamic content based on the user inputs. Dynamically, the output will get changed, and that is how the response is sent. Okay, so here is the client side and the server side scripts. So this one shows the client script execution, and the client scripts are executed. For example, we have the JavaScript. It will get executed on the browser, and server scripts will get executed on the web servers. So this is the example. Here we have the user. He requests for a JavaScript source file, and the server will respond with this JavaScript file. Once the browser receives the JavaScript file, it will execute those JavaScripts whichever are required. It will execute and display it in the browser. This is a server side scripting. Here user request for a PHP resource. So here we are using a PHP resource. If you remember, when we studied about the form, there we give the two important attributes. One is called as a method, one is called as action. A method is get or post, and action is we provide the resource on the server, some kind of a PHP file. So here a request for the PHP file. The PHP code in requested resource is executed. The whichever the PHP file that will get executed, and whatever the output from that PHP is sent back. Okay, after the execution, and that is received by the browser, and it will be displayed to the user. That is how the server side script works. And server side script resources. So you can see here script inputs. So we have the PHP code here, and this PHP code might interact with any kind of a resources on the server side. So on the server side, this PHP code might interact with a database to get certain kind of information, and it can interact with any kind of a web services we have. Let us say you are trying to get some kind of a information which is available through the web services. So it will get that data using the web services, or this PHP code might be interacting with the files, okay, whatever the local files. It could be images, it could be some data files, configuration files, it could be anything. So it might interact with a file. A PHP code, there might be a requirement to send an email, so it will interact with the mail server, or it might interact with any other software, and based on that processing, so it will interact. It all the scripts will not interact with all these resources. It is based on the requirement. Okay, some PHP code, there is a requirement you talk to a database and get the information. There is some PHP code, the requirement you interact with the files. So it basically, the PHP server side script, it will interact with all these resources, and it will get the output back to the output back as a response. Web development technologies, we here it is demonstrated two technologies. One is a .NET and ASP.NET, that is the Microsoft technology, and we have the PHP. In case of a this is the browser, there is a request for the get method and vacation.aspx. Okay, that is the server side code, and on this side it is vacation.php. And once we get the on the server, we get that request, then execute program script. So you can see this is the vacation.aspx. Inside you can see some of the HTML tags and some of the ASP tags. Okay, so this is a ASP code. The file extension is .aspx, and it has some kind of a code behind. Okay, so if you get more into the details of the .NET development, you will understand how that components works. It has a code behind, that is vacation.aspx.cs, and the program outputs as a HTML. So this will give a response as a HTML, possibly including the JavaScripts and the CSS styling and everything. This is how, and that is displayed. Okay, that program output, whatever the HTML, it is displayed onto the browser. So it will be sent back as the HTTP response. Now this is the .NET, and this side is using a PHP. So again, request for the vacation.php, the web server. So it will execute the program, PHP program. You can see vacation.php. So in our syllabus, we are going to learn about the PHP code. So this is the beginning of the PHP code. Okay, this is the less than question mark PHP, and it ends with the question mark and the closing angle bracket. In between we have the PHP code. So echo header h1, echo title. So we are to learn about this PHP language in very brief. So this will execute, and whatever the output, the program output as a HTML is given back to the browser as a HTTP response. Comparing server side technologies, there are many technologies on the server side. So just this is a comparison here. ASP. So prior to ASP.NET, ASP was the Microsoft technology that was predominantly. After the introduction of the .NET, most of the things are moved from the ASP.NET. ASP is active servers like code using VB script, will use the VB, Visual Basic Scripting Language, can be embedded within the HTML. ASP code is interpreted at runtime. It can slow in comparison to other technologies. So it is a interpretation which is done at the runtime. So that is will take more time for the execution. .NET is a part of Microsoft's .NET framework and UI.NET programming language. So there are many languages on a .NET framework. Most of the time we use the C#. Yes, so ASP.NET uses an explicitly object-oriented approach. It uses special markup called as web server controls that encapsulate absolute common web functionality such as a database, driven list, form validation, user registration wizards. ASP.NET is compiled into intermediate format called as MSIL. So whenever will create a intermediate code, and intermediate code can be executed on any .NET framework. Okay, so that is how, like similar to the Java. In case of a Java, we will not have the actual executable. So we will have a intermediate code that can be used to run on any kind of a JVM. Also similar concept, but here it is a MSIL files. In case of Java, it is a dot class file. So in case of a these MSIL files, these can be capable of running on any kind of a .NET framework. Okay, then MSIL is the file type, and it is analogous to Java's bytecode. ASP.NET then uses just-in-time compiler to compile the MSIL. So JIT, what we call it as a JIT compiler, just-in-time compiler. So relatively, it will be faster. Whatever is required, it is compiled. That is how it will speed up to compile the MSIL to a machine executable code, so its performance can be excellent. However, ASP.NET is essentially limited to Windows servers only. So the ASP.NET is limited to the Windows servers. It will require a Windows server. JSP, Java Server Pages. Before ASP.NET and all this technology, JSP was a little popular, and it uses the Java is the programming language. Like ASP.NET uses the explicit object-oriented approach and used in a large enterprise web system, and is integrated into um, J2EE environment. So J2EE is Java 2 Enterprise Edition environment. Since JSP uses a Java runtime engine, it also uses a JIT compiler for fast execution time and cross-platform. While JSP's usage in the web as a whole is small, it has a substantial market share in the intranet environment, as well as the with the very large and busy site. So nowadays, like JSP is not used much, and whatever is there already, it will be migrated into a lot of new technologies that are available now. Node.js. This is the very recent server environment that uses JavaScript on the server side. So the advantage of this is what, already who are worked on the client side, who are already aware of writing the JavaScript on the client side, they can use the same JavaScripting on the server side as well. Okay, so thus it uses the JavaScript on the server side, thus allowing developers already familiar with the JavaScript to use just a single language for both client side and server side development. Unlike the other development technologies listed here, Node.js also has its own web server. Okay, so Node.js, if you are using, it has its own web server, so you don't need an additional web server, eliminating the need of a Apache web server or IIS. IIS is nothing but it is a Windows server and other web server software. So the advantage the Node.js gives is you can use the JavaScripting on both the client as well as the server side. So that is one advantage. And second advantage is you don't require a additional web server, because web server is already part of it. Perl, until the development and popularization of ASP PHP, even before ASP, Perl was very popular. Okay, Perl was a language typically used for early server-side web development. As a language, it excels in the manipulation of text. It was commonly used in conjunction with the Common Gateway Interface (CGI) and early standards API for communication between application and the web server software. PHP, similar to ASP, PHP is a dynamically typed language that can be embedded directly within the HTML, though it now supports most common object-oriented features such as classes, inheritances. By default, PHP pages are compiled into an intermediary representation called opcode, similar to the ASP.NET. The PHP code is converted into a intermediary code, and that is called as a opcode, that is analogous to MSIL and the Java bytecode. Originally, PHP stood for the personal home pages, although it is now recursive acronym that means PHP Hypertext Processor. So PHP is PHP Hypertext Processor. Python is another server-side language that can be used. The object-oriented programming language, it has many uses, including being used to create web applications. It is also used in variety of web development frameworks such as Django and Pyramid. Ruby on the Rails. Okay, this is also like a very limited applications are there using this particular technology. This framework uses Ruby programming language, and similar to ASP.NET and JSP, Ruby on Rails emphasizes use of the common software development approaches, in particular MVC design pattern. So MVC is like model view controller design. That is the most common approach that is used for the web application development. It integrates features such as templates and engines that aim to reduce the amount of development work required to create the new websites. Okay, 1 second. All right. So you can see, so this gives a good picture of which technology you should be looking for learning the web application, learning the technologies that are involved in the web application development. These are like top 50 million sites. Okay. So 50 million is a huge number. So these many websites, and you can say almost half of them are developed with the PHP. So the whatever the skill set we talked about, we discussed about, so that is HTML5, CSS, JavaScript, and PHP, with good knowledge of any of the databases, relational databases. Uh, it's a sorry for the background noises. Okay. So PHP is a good technology. Whatever the your syllabus coverage is there, if you have a in-depth knowledge of that, as I said again, like HTML5, then CSS, JavaScript, and PHP, and along with that, any database, MySQL or any Oracle database, any database, that will make a very good combination. And this you can see, like this is 50 million sites, and this is a top 10,000 sites. If you, even if you consider top 10,000 sites, PHP has a like a quite bit of a like a market share, about 39%, and similarly ASP.NET 27% and 38%. So what are the responsibility of the web server? Okay, web server has many responsibilities. So first is like whenever it gets a request, then it has to do the response. Apart from that, it has like handling of all the HTTP connections. So whatever is the connection aspects, it has to take care. Responding to request for static and dynamic resources. I told you like the request could be for the static resources such as image file, or any other thing which is on the server, or it could be a dynamic resource such as it has to interact with the various other resources like databases, other web services, or other systems, and dynamically generate the content. Managing permission and access of certain resources, encrypting and compressing data, managing multiple domains and URLs. So on one web server, you can have a multiple hosting, right? Multiple web applications you can run on the same web server, provided like there is a bandwidth in terms of the CPU, RAM, and the storage. So if there is a bandwidth, multiple domains can be hosted on a particular web server. Managing database connections, how to make a connection, how to open the connection, then how to execute the queries that are issued, then how to close those connections. All things has to be taken care by the web server. Managing cookies and the state, uploading and managing files. These are the responsibilities of a web server. So LAMP stack, you will be using the LAMP software stack. L stands for the Linux operating system, A Apache web server, M MySQL database, and PHP scripting language. So for our discussions, we will not using the LAMP. We will be using the XAMPP. So I'll just show you. Already I had told about this when we started this particular course. So you have to install this XAMPP. Okay. So this is XAMPP is this is cross. X stands for the cross platform. A is for Apache, then MySQL, then we have the PHP and Perl. Okay, that is how this is XAMPP. This is you can install version. This is the version what I have, what was available when I installed. So just you can Google it and check which version is available. Make sure that you install this. Okay, XAMPP. This stack is required for running the web application. So I told you like for the all the server side scripting, we need a web server to be running. So whenever we have any code to be run, we will run the server. So you can see Apache. Apache is the web server. Then you will say it start. So server will start running and it will start listening. Whenever there is any kind of a request, it will respond. You can see now Apache is running. So MySQL, if there is any requirement for the database, you can use MySQL. Apache and Linux. So consider Apache web server as the intermediary that interprets HTTP requests that arrive through the network port, decides how to handle the request, which often requires working in conjunction with the PHP. So you can see this is the HTTP request that is coming through the network. So at port 80. So for this web server, this is the web server. Okay. And we have so this is the operating system we have. On top of that, we have the web server installed, that is Apache web server, and it has the PHP. So whatever request is coming to the server, web server, it will work in conjunction with the PHP, and it will respond to those HTTP requests. Apache runs as a daemon on the server. Daemon is an executing inside of a program, also called a process that runs in the background waiting for a specific event that will activate it. So daemon, in the sense, they will be running it in the background, right? So they will not they will be running continuously, and they will be in the background. And Whenever the request comes, they will handle that request, and that will be continuously running on the background. That is the meaning of the daemon. When requests arrive, Apache then uses modules to determine how to respond to the request. In case of Apache, we have the modules, and module is a compiled extension, and it is written in normally it is written in C programming language that helps to handle the requests that are coming in. For this reason, these modules also sometimes referred to as handlers. So you can see here, this is Apache and the PHP incoming request. Okay, these are the different modules are there that are present inside the Apache, and so here you can see this particular module, PHP5. This is the module that interfaces with the PHP environment, and this is the PHP environment, core PHP. Okay, and these are the extension layer, and this is the Zend engine handles compilation and execution. So all the compilation and the execution is taken care by the of PHP code is taken care by the Zend engine. And after doing this, the response is given to the HTTP response is sent back to the server. Here each module can decline serving the request, accept serving it, or deny the request from being served by the other module. So each of these module can either accept the request, or it will deny, so that the next module will take care. So here you can see the PHP model which interacts with the PHP. It will take the request, it will execute, and it will provide the response. That response is sent back to the browser. Apache threads. Apache runs in two possible modes. One is called as a multi-process. It is also called as a pre-forked and multi-threaded. So there are multi-processes that will run. In case of this is multi-threaded. So there will be multiple threads that are spawned, and you can install the particular Apache in any of these either as a multi-process, as a multi-thread. By default, the installation is multi-process. This is the default mode of the installation. Here you can see this is the multi-threaded worker setup, and this is a multi-process forked setup. So here you can see each of these are multiple processes. All these are Apache process that will take the request, okay, and they will handle the request. And here it is multi-threaded. So you can see the Apache process, there are many threads are spawned, and each of this thread will like take the request. PHP internals, there are three main modules that are present inside the PHP. One is called as a PHP core, and second one is the extension layer, and third one is the Zend engine. In PHP core module, it defines the main features of the PHP environment, including all the essential functions of variable handling, array, string, classes, math, and other core features. Whatever is the core programming aspects of the PHP, that is taken care by this particular module, that is PHP core. And in case of a extension layer, this module defines functions for interacting with services outside the PHP, and those include interacting with the MySQL database, FTP. FTP is a file transfer protocol, SOAP, web services, XML processing, and many other layers. That is done through the extension layer module in the PHP. And the third module is the Zend engine. This module handles the reading in of the requested PHP file, compiling it, and executing. So this particular engine, Zend engine, is responsible for getting whatever is the requested PHP file, compiling it, and executing that particular PHP file. So this is the diagram of the Zend engine. You can see it here. PHP code document. PHP code documents are fetched from the server storage and fed into the Z engine for execution. So when form gets submitted, there is an action. In that action, there is a PHP file provided, and that PHP file will be loaded from the storage. So it will be saved onto the web server storage. It will be loaded. So then we have the Lexer, which converts human readable PHP code into machine digestible tokens. Then we have the parser, which converts the stream of tokens and generates the expressions. Okay, so then we have the compiler, which converts the expression into PHP codes. Okay, basically opcodes, similar to the bytecode or the MSIL. And once we have the opcode, we have the executor. It safely executes the or runs the opcode with which generates the HTML. So it will generate the HTML, and that is the output from the executor is returned, eventually is sent back to the requesting browser. So this is the how the Zend engine works. It takes loads the PHP file from the storage. Then Lexer will convert the human readable to the PHP code, human readable PHP code into machine digestible tokens. Then parser, then compiler will compile and generate the opcode. Code is executed by the and output is given as an HTML to the requesting browser. Installing so to work the okay, simple, you have to worry. So this is Apache has their Apache website. Normally the website will end with the .org. Okay, so you can say Apache official website, and from Apache official website, whichever is the latest version, you can install. And there is a simple test that can be executed. It is also specified in installation, which will make sure that you have successfully installed your uh, uh, XAMPP or not. Okay, you can request the local host, and you will see the test page. So if that test page is seen, that your installation is complete. This installation is very simple. You need not worry. Just go to that website and download, and no major configurational issues are there. So you can follow simple steps. And we have XAMPP is for the Windows servers and MAMP for the Mac installation package. According to your laptop, whichever laptop you have, choose the right kind of the version. Both these installation packages install and configure all these three: Apache, PHP, and MySQL. Later we can come back and configure the systems in more detail. So if it is required, we can do the more configurational changes. This I already shown. Okay, this is how you will see the control panel. Once you have a successful installation, you can open the control panel. From control panel, you can manage the server. So from here you can stop, you can start, stop both here. So any administrative or configurational changes, if you want to check the log files, everything can be done from here. Okay, so once you have this PHP requester in your browser, will need to use the localhost domain. Okay, PHP files will have to be saved somewhere within the. This is the most important information for web server to work. You have to have all your installation in this particular folder, C colon XAMPP htdocs, everything goes inside there. So let me see, open the local host. I'm starting the Apache server. You can see here XAMPP. So if you see this particular okay, so if you see this particular page, that means your installation is successful. Then you can host the application on top of that. You should be able to see this one. So only make sure that your Apache is started. Suppose if you stop the Apache, the web server is stopped, and if you click here, it will not find this page. Okay, make sure your web server is running. So here now you can see it, and all your application code should go in this location. It should be in C colon then XAMPP, okay, XAMPP, then htdocs. So inside the XAMPP you will see lot many folders, right? So it is htdocs. So you have to put all your code inside the htdocs. So already I have some code here. Okay, so these are the codes that I can run from here. So every code should be inside this htdocs. So this is how you will see. Next, quick tour of PHP. So PHP is similar to the JavaScript. It is a dynamically typed language. That means it will you don't have to specify what the data type. It will dynamically take it at the runtime. So any variable can be, you can save the number. Later you can change it to text. Later you can change it to character. So it is dynamically typed language. It uses classes and functions in a way consistent with other object-oriented languages such as C++, C Sharp, and Java. So the usage of the classes is very similar to other. If you are familiar with the Java, C++, it is very familiar. You can correlate with that, and you can easily understand. The syntax for the loops, conditionals, and assignment is identical to JavaScript. Already we have seen the JavaScript, how the loops are used, how the assignments are then, how the conditionals are there. It is identical to that. It will differ when you get to functions, classes, and in how you define variables. So there is a difference in the functions, classes, and how the variables are defined. PHP tags, the most important fact about the PHP is that programming code can be embedded directly within the HTML file. That we already know. PHP code can be embedded inside the HTML file, and PHP file will have an extension of .php, right? And programming code must be contained within the, say this is the opening PHP tag and this is the closing PHP tag. This is the open angle bracket question mark, then we have the PHP tag, then it ends with a question mark and the closing angle bracket. So any code outside the tags is echoed directly out to the client. So if any code is outside this, it will be like any text content, right? And it will directly displayed on the browser as is. This is the example PHP tags. You can see this is the opening PHP tag, and this is ending PHP tag. And I have the PHP, PHP, we have two sets of code here. One is here and one is here. This is the opening PHP tag. and this is closing PHP tag, and here we have defined a user, okay, variable called user, and we assigned a value. And you can see inside the HTML element we have used the code. So it will say welcome, then this is the opening PHP code and PHP tag, and this is the closing PHP tag. Inside that we have echo dollar user. So echo what it will do is it will output the value to the browser, means it will be displayed onto the browser. On the browser you will say welcome and Randy. So the dollar user is Randy. Echo it will put it to the browser. So what on the browser you will get is a welcome Randy. And the server time is, suppose this information is dynamic, isn't it? The server time keeps on changing, so you will use the PHP script there. So whatever the, if you say like the other way of using is you can create a date object and you can display here the date object inside the PHP code. This is the opening PHP code, this is the ending PHP code. Echo strong, so this is the HTML tag, then echo date in this format, so it will create a date object with current timestamp, and closing strong. So we already know what is the strong HTML element. Strong will make the content as a bold. So here you can see the server time is, this is what you are seeing is like a HTML code. This is not the output on the browser. So browser will when browser displays this one, then it will make it as a bold. Right now it is a HTML code that is after PHP gets executed. So after PHP gets executed, the server time is, we get a strong, the time and the closing strong. When browser loads this HTML, this particular time will come as bold. So the server time is in bold, we will have this time. HTML and PHP, two approaches. We have approach number one, mixing HTML and PHP. So either we can have this way where we can mix both, or second approach is where we can keep them separate. Here you can see this is the PHP code, opening tag, closing tag, and this is the variable DB is equal to new MySQLi. Okay, here we are creating a connection object. So where is the database? It is on the local host. This is the user, this is the password, this is the database instance name. So with this information I am creating a connection object, and that connection object is stored in DB. And I have a query SQL is equal to select star from artist order by last name. Then I have a result using this database connection object. I am passing the SQL. So DB, then dash angle, this is the arrow operator, query, and I'm passing the query. So this query will get executed on the database, and the result will be stored back in the results. So this is the inside the PHP code. Then we have the body, then unordered list I have. You can see here again beginning of the PHP code, ending of the PHP code, while dollar row is equal to dollar result, and arrow operator fetch a sock. So it is going to fetch the records from this result set, and echo li. So how long this loop will go? As long as there are records. Suppose let us say in database there are 5 records, so it will loop through 5 times, and every time it will put the li. Okay, so it will put the opening li. Okay, after that, so this is the beginning of the PHP, uh, this is the ending of the PHP, and sorry, this is beginning of the PHP, and this is the ending of the PHP code. Then we have the image, particular image. Then again another PHP code is here, and we are saying echo. This is the link for the PHP. So this is the anchor HTML element. Then I have a image, okay, dot dollar row ID. So whatever the row ID we are going to get, we are putting the ID value here, and then dollar row. So dollar row is here, dollar row, and the first name, we are going to fetch the first name. So here they have not given the column names actually. Inside the artist we have ID, we have the first name, we have the last name. Okay, so we are fetching that dynamically, and we are creating the li. So this is the opening li and this is the closing li. So what it is doing is, for every row we are making it as a like a one anchor, anchor would be there, that is the link that is provided to the artist.php. Then image would be there, then we are appending that with the row ID. Okay, and that is what you will see in the link, and in the next line you will see the first name and the last name, and there will be remove the records, 5 records, and this is the end of the code. Then here again we have the PHP code. What we are doing is, we are closing the result set. Okay, this object close, and we are closing the database connection, that is the DB database object, and we are calling the close method. So this is the second approach. We are separating HTML and PHP. If you see here, both PHP and HTML are intertwined, and both are used together. Here we have a separation, where I have, this is the display-artist.php file. Okay, and this is artist.php file, and this one is a artist collection.php. So we have 3 different codes here. Inside the artist.php file we have a class defined, artist class is defined with 3 attributes and 1 function as output. And inside the artist collection we have certain code, and that is called, so you can see it is these 2 PHPs are included in this PHP. So whatever is defined here, these classes, artist and artist collection, both will be available in this PHP because they are included. And you can see now new object has been created here, new artist collection. So artist collection is this class, and similarly this can be utilized. Okay, PHP comments, very similar to other language. There are different ways of providing PHP comments, which we'll see in the next class.